Good evening, everyone. Lee DeAngelis here from Access Aerial. Tonight, I wanted to do a little bit of an educational program here about the release of LAANC by the FAA in the northeastern United States, which went live today and is going to make life easier for commercial drone pilots in the area. Now, just the basics. There's commercial drone pilots, and then there's recreational drone pilots. If you just like to fly around and take pictures for yourself, or make cool videos, or fly model airplanes and things of that nature, you're considered recreational. If you want to make some money with your drone, like I like to do, and help businesses and people solve problems using cool technology, then you're considered a commercial drone pilot. So that's basically what we do. We take real estate videos, we make films, we get footage for films using drones, and our bread and butter sometimes people don't realize, but is in the construction industry. So some of the things we do in the construction industry is take photos of large projects, do progression, collect data so their project managers can see how the project's going. There's always somebody sitting in an office somewhere that can't be on site, and drones give them an eye in the sky, basically, to see how a project's going. We do a lot of commercial work in the area of Scranton, Pennsylvania. And, I can show you a little bit of what we do. I have a little video here that you guys can check out. And here's one of our drone operations at a construction site. So that's just a little video I put together of one of our operations. It was a laminated glass factory that was being built up in the Jessup Industrial Park that we tracked the progress on from beginning to end. The clients loved it. Everybody involved pretty much was happy with the thanks, Gary. They were happy with the results of the drone imaging, right from the construction company on down to the guy that was paying for the building. So that's what we do. And what I'll do is take a step back and talk to you a little bit about how commercial drone operations have worked in the past and what LAANC means for the future. So back in 2014, drone technology led by a company called DJI, which is, what the type of drone we use. It's made by a Chinese company called DJI. They basically perfected drone technology back in 2014, added GPS to it so it would be stable and you couldn't lose it. It would come back to you if you lost sight of it. And they added all kinds of technology that made operating drones feasible for just about anyone. And a lot of people started to see the benefits of using drones on job sites for aerial photography, for construction, infrastructure inspection, all kinds of commercial uses. The drone became this incredible tool that was pretty cheap, and people started using it. And back around then is when we purchased our first drone and started seeing the benefits of using drone technology. And we started as recreational pilots, and all of a sudden people started asking us to do different work, and we would collect aerial imaging data and provide it to clients, and they loved it. So the problem back then was the FAA would require you to request authorization to do different commercial operations in airspace that was controlled. So around here, that is Class D and Class E airspace right around Avoca Airport. And what we would have to do is either we would go through the port. The FAA had this portal that we would describe our operation, basically filling out a form on their website and submitting it. And it would take up to 90 days to get approval for the operation. Well, in real world scenarios, that almost never works. So either the client would get frustrated and just do it illegally, or hire somebody to do it illegally, or we would lose the business, But about a year ago, the FAA realized that this wasn't working for commercial drone pilots, and they decided to enlist some tech firms to come up with a better solution. And the solution they came up with was, it's called, the acronym is LAANC. And let's see here. So LAANC is Low Altitude Authorization and Notification Capability. So it's basically an almost instantaneous approval for commercial operations. And you can see in this slide here that as of today in eastern north United States, which is northeastern Pennsylvania, LAANC went live today. So what does that really mean? So what that means is the FAA, again, contracted some third-party software companies to design a system for commercial pilots and businesses that want to use drones to get instantaneous authorization to do what they want with the drone. So what the FAA did was basically came up with a series of facilities maps, so every airport basically has a grid map around it. And this is the one around Avoca Airport. So you can see this here. I'll put it right over my face so you can't miss it. And what this is it basically shows you in the center where these zeros are. That's where the airport actually is. Zero means you cannot fly in that area. And going out from the airport, you'll see 100, 200, 300, 400. So that is the maximum altitude that you can operate a drone in that particular box or zone around the airport. So the software called LAANC looks at these grid boxes, and wherever you are going to operate, it consults this facilities map and basically instantaneously tells you if the operation is approved or denied. And it looks at these maps and it can determine that. So the question is, how do you get authorization now that LAANC is live. So again, before you had to go through the portal on the FAA website, fill out a form, and wait up to 90 days to get approval. Now with LAANC, there are a series of, let me see if I can get to a website here for you. So let me get rid of this thing here. Hold on a second. So I am on the FAA website currently, and this is the site that talks about what LAANC is. When is LAANC coming? Today is the day for northeastern Pennsylvania, and there's only one. So if you could see this, it's coming in 6 different waves. We are wave number 5 that started today, and then tomorrow, or September 13th, will be the final U.S. wave, which will be the central north United States. So what I wanted to show you was basically who is providing this service, and it is these suppliers here: AirMap, Harris Corporation, Project Wing, Rockwell Collins, Skyward, and the Thales Group. I've used AirMap. They have a nice little app, but the one that I really like is Skyward, and that's what I'm going to show you here tonight, if you will bear with me as I get this set up. Okay. So Skyward is a supplier of LAANC. This is the URL. If you can't make it out, let me know, but I'll make it a little bigger here. So it's skyward.io, and if you go there, like I'm going to do in a second here, you should be able to, let me clear that so it doesn't get in your way. Can everybody see? So I'm on the Skyward website here. And what I'm going to do is sign in. Let's see here. So basically, you can get a free pilot account on Skyward. And what it does is let you request authorization through the Skyward website. So basically, I put my profile in here with my name, and what I found was required is my first and last name. Let's see, what else? Phone number, in case they need to get a hold of you. Address. And when you take your Part 107 drone license test, you receive a card with a certification number. That number is also required to create this profile. So if you take a look here, you will see that there are several menus up on top. There's a map menu, a plan menu, and a manage menu. Those are the ones we're going to primarily be worried about tonight. So I just want to go through this quick. I don't want to ramble on here all night, but this map area is basically where we're going to be working to request approval. So when we get a job, and over on the left here you'll see a commercial. That better? A commercial and a recreational tab here. You want to go into the commercial tab if you're a commercial pilot, and let's say we are going to need to fly a commercial drone mission in Scranton, Pennsylvania, for instance. What I'm going to do is click up here on this draw flight area. It looks like a little pencil. And what I usually do is grab this circle. And let's say we wanted to go in this grid area here. So I'm going to name this Scranton area drone flight. Let's save it. So if I go back over to flight area here, I'll see my Scranton area drone, and then there's a little plus sign that gives me actual GPS coordinates there. If you could see that. Am I in the way here? Let's see. Let me get out of this so you can see the entire screen. Okay. So what we're going to do next is hit the plan. And this is going to take us into the plan menu. And we're going to call this, let's say, LAANC Test 2, because I tested this morning too. So I'm going to make this mission go tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Let's say that's 1600. And then tomorrow I'm going to end it at 1800. So it's going to be a 2-hour mission. On the drop down menu here, I'm going to put my name. I'm the crew. And then I fill my aircraft that I usually use is an Inspire 2. So what you'll see here, which is interesting, is that this will actually give you weather, and it gives you a map of where your operation is. And over in this area here, you will see that there's this yellow box here that says FA authorization is required for this operation. And it will actually tell you the maximum altitudes that you can operate in these areas. So the one closer to the airport is actually 300, and the one a little further away from the airport is actually 400 feet. So those are the maximum altitudes you can legally operate your commercial drone operation. So all you're going to do here is click Request Authorization, and you're going to get this little menu here that says, as a condition of this operation, I agree to comply with 14 CFR Part 107 operating rules, including maintain visual line of sight. Aircraft cannot exceed 100 miles per hour. Do not fly over non-participants. Do not exceed maximum authorized altitude. Ensure there's no temporary flight restrictions before flying. And this gives you a little, you're supposed to stay 1,000 feet basically below, away from clouds. And once you get that, you click the agree. You can agree here, and you'll see this little box spinning. And just like that, instead of waiting 90 days, we have our authorization immediately. So what you would do here is, let's see, you can either print it out, or, it's, what I would do is whenever you're doing a commercial operation, I would print that out and carry it with me for up to 90 days, just in case you get questioned on it. So we have that there. And then I'm going to save my mission up top. And when I want to look at this again, I can go into Manage. Let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit. So there's a Manage menu. And it would be under Operations. And there's my operation. I can click on it, go into it, and you'll see over here, that you can actually view my authorization. And that will pop up, and you can, again, print it out if you needed it. Anything you need to take with you the day of the job is here. So that's basically it. I mean, it's, as opposed to when we used to wait 90 days for all of this stuff to happen, that took less than 5 minutes to get authorization. I'm happy with it so far. I think this is going to make our lives a lot easier, and especially people or organizations that want to use drones. They're going to. This is really going to open up the sky for commercial work if it hasn't already. I think it's a great move by the FAA. They clearly understand that drones are here to stay, and they needed a method to make them ready for business, and this appears to be that method. So I hope that was educational. That was my experience. This is the first day again. I hope that was, I hope you get something out of this. It's not as exciting as drone footage, I understand, but hopefully you learned something, and you'll be able to use LAANC for yourself as well if you're a commercial pilot. All right, everybody, have a good night. Take care.